Hey everybody, it's Shari here today, and I am going to be making this cute little birthday card using Critter Chatter and Meow You Doin. So here is the Critter Chatter set that we're going to use to make a background. And the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a little piece of some spiffy speckles pink paper here, and I've got a stitched square die, and I went ahead and cut that out. So that's going to be my background. And I'm just going to use the text that goes with the cat because I'm making a cat theme card. So that's those 6 stamps right across the top there. And these are all on the same size square base, so they're meant to be stacked together. In my case, I'm going to do a long line of sentiments. You could also stack them tall as well and kind of make a block. And I'm just going to try and mix them up to where I have the little ones beside a bigger one, so it's nice and mixed up. And I'm just making a long line because I'm going to go on a diagonal with this background, and I want to make sure it's long enough. So I've got some Peachy Keen ink here because I felt like this color made a nice tone-on-tone background without overpowering what I'm going to put in front of it. So you can see I just test stamped there. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to stamp on the diagonal. And since I have it all in one long line, all I'm going to do is shift it to where I don't have the words exactly lined up. So just get a nice variety. Line up the bigger words with the smaller words and vice versa, and just fill up that whole background. So now I'm going to do something a little different with my images. I am going to use some scrap pieces of paper and I'm going to emboss them. So instead of stamping them out and coloring with markers, I'm going to white heat emboss each of these images on a different colored cardstock. And this is a great way to use up your scraps. It also has a really cool look to it. You get a colored image without doing all the coloring. So it's just kind of a different way of coloring things in. I will add some accents with some colored pencils, which you'll see here in just a little bit. So I'm going to stamp the images on the different colored cardstocks with clear ink, and then I'm going to use the white embossing powder, and then I'm just going to heat it up. And you can see I'm using my static tool, my anti-static tool, to make sure that the embossing powder only sticks to where I ink up the images. So I've got the little cat and the little can of tuna on some narwhal cardstock. This is some mermaid cardstock for the yarn and the string that will go behind it. I'm going to use some storm cloud cardstock for that little mouse, just for a different variety of gray. And then you can see there I used the purple spiffy speckles for the cat bed, but I ended up changing that in the end to a blue bed because it just didn't really stand out on my pink background. So now you can see I'm going in with a darker gray colored pencil and I'm just adding a little bit of shadow. So this just gives it a little bit of dimension, but you still have that cool look of just the embossed image. So I also went in with some pink, a light pink pencil, and I added some little cheeks, and I'm going to add some accents to the ears, just kind of the inside of the ears where the pinkness is. I also added some color to the can of tuna. I colored in the little fish on the can of tuna. It went orange, colored the food with brown. But you can see that you kind of get a nice look. I added a little stripe to him too. And then here you can see this is where I changed my mind and stamped out and embossed on the blue spiffy speckles paper the cat bed because it stood out a lot better on the pink background. And I'm just going in with a blue pencil that's similar in color and just kind of adding some shading to the cushion to make it stand out a little bit. And then I'll just use the die to cut that out just like I did all the other pieces. And I've got a piece of yellow spiffy speckles here, and I cut it with that same stitch square die that I cut the background with. And now I'm using the middle size of the simple wavy border, and I'm going to kind of cut my ground with that. I actually like these wavy borders. I know they're waves, but they are a nice different edge for like a ground for a scene than just the little hillside that we use so often. So I'm just going to add that to the bottom of this panel with some liquid glue. And then I am putting foam tape all over the back of this, and I am putting this on a square cream colored card base. So now I can start to add my pieces and build my scene. So I'll put my little cat in the cat bed here, and I cut out the tiny little party hat because it is a birthday card. So I'm adding that party hat there. And then I'll just put some foam tape on the back of him so he can be popped up a little bit. And I'm just going to center him right in the middle of my card. So now I can add all the fun little pieces that go with him. I'm going to add a foam square to the back of the little can of tuna. I love that it has a birthday candle in it. I think that's super cute. And I'm just going to add the little mouse just with some liquid glue to the bed. I'm going to take the ball of yarn and tuck it behind with some very thin foam adhesive, and then I can just tuck that extra little string behind the ball of yarn just like it's kind of unfurling there. So now I'm going to use the smallest little speech bubble from the Birdie Told Me set, a Birdie Told Me set. And that little meow meow fits right in there. So I'm going to stamp that out in black. You can see I tried it in narwhal ink, but I didn't like the color, so I'm doing it again. And then the little meow meow fits right in there. And this stamp set also has dies that match, so I'm just going to use that to cut that out. And I will pop that up with a little bit of foam adhesive as well. So if you'll notice, we haven't said happy birthday on this card yet, have we? We've just said meow with all that critter chatter in the background. So I'm using a combination of the critter chatter that says translation there, and then I use the sentiment from Meow You Doin that says happy birthday. So I'm using some stamps from both sets to stamp on the inside. And of course, I could have just made it say happy birthday, but since I am using that cat set, I thought it would be super cute to put the pun on the inside as well. And here is the finished card with that fun sentiment on the inside. So here's another look with that kind of cool, different look that the embossing gives you with just a little bit of colored pencil accent. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.